Sydney Watson, eh? I haven't talked about her in a while. She's one of those right-wing foreign propagandists who has no real stake in American politics, who's running the country and what policies dictate our lives, and yet she very confidently and loudly screams her political opinions from the rooftops and forces us all to be subject to her fans and their political opinions that she influences. And so Sydney Watson, I haven't covered her in a while, but she's kind of a classic for the channel, so I thought I'd check in on her. Turns out she did a video talking about the new Harry Potter show that's in the works, which, mind you, was made with executive confirmation, executive oversight by J.K. Rowling. So any decisions they made was, of course, approved by J.K. Rowling, the transphobic hero of the modern day right. So the fact that there's been some changes to the story, such as race-swapping characters like Snape, has made the right go apeshit. And at least as far as Sydney Watson is concerned, it appears that they're abandoning J.K. Rowling, their turf queen. I never would have guessed it, but it seems that's the way things are going. Sydney Watson put out this video, and I thought we'd go ahead and dive in. So if you end up liking it, leave a like down below, comment, let's get right into it. Oh, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
Does anyone want to pass to say the inward?
Is this
Potter,
AI?
do you know
Am I gonna get, like, clapped by YouTube's algorithm for detecting AI in this? Probably not. If she did it, it's probably fine.
what the inward is?
Just a reminder that any profits made from the new Harry Potter show is going to be used to fund anti-trans organizations.
Looked in the online, and there were photographs of Nick Frost as Hagrid, along with the new Harry Potter walk. And I'm thinking, and he's wearing the exact same costume that we designed for Hagrid. Part of me was like, what's the point?
Why do they keep doing this?
I mean, that's fair. That's kind of my position on the issue.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. To answer the question that may or may not have popped into your head upon reading the title of this video, no, I am not clairvoyant, but I might as well be at this stage. So no, I cannot foresee the future, but I am a millennial who has lived through this weird era of remakes and reboots and whatnot, so I am, shall we say, quite good at pattern recognition. Which
is she gassing herself up over predicting that there would be a Harry Potter remake? That is not an impressive prediction. Like, that's as impressive as predicting there'll be a Star Wars remake, or there'll be a Lord of the Rings remake, or a Matrix remake. Yeah, those movies will all be remade eventually.
which leads me to firmly believe that the upcoming 2026 Harry Potter reboot is not going to be as terrific as I'm sure HBO is hoping. Sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings. This is not related at all to this subject matter, but I want to tell you guys, I am really tired and therefore hanging by a proverbial thread, so if I don't show up as much this way in this video and it's mostly just voiceover, please forgive me. If you're new here, this is what I look like. And,
she's
and
burned
I'm
out.
usually in the videos more. I am so tired and I don't feel like being on camera. Anyway, if you have been following the news at all, which I'm sure the majority of you have, in late March we were finally given a trailer for the new Harry Potter show, giving us a little snippet into what is to come. If she hasn't been attacked with a copyright claim, Editing Sydney will have left in the trailer here for you to watch, but if we have been attacked, then she probably will have added a bunch of stills instead, which are less interesting, but that's the way it is. Either way, the trailer gave us a good look at young Harry Potter living in his little cupboard there under the stairs, being abused by Aunt Petunia. It shows Hagrid being Hagrid. We get a good look at Ron and Hermione interacting with Harry, and importantly, we get a small look at our boy Black Snape. He shows up only briefly though, illuminating a hallway with his wand. HBO also seems to have dropped a handful of images.
He's making sure those students aren't doing anything they're not supposed to. He's looking around the hallways with his, what is it, Lumos? I think that's the spell. He's making sure no one's sneaking around or going to the bathroom without a hall pass.
Of the cast as well. Again, you have Harry pushing a little cart at the train station, Dumbledore doing whatever he's doing here, and again we have Snape standing in a forest against a snowy backdrop. Now, because I am slightly late to the commentary on this topic, I am sure that all of you by now have seen someone somewhere complaining about how absurd this looks. And I know that probably will upset some people to hear, but there is just so much wrong with depicting Snape this way. But what I find...
Man, I can't even argue with anything she's gonna say here because, well, she might get really racist. Sydney Watson hides her power level in some videos just to a ridiculous amount where she comes off as just a normie. And then another video you'll watch, she'll be like, and they're promoting mixed race marriage. You're like, whoa! I didn't know you were that into this shit. God damn, okay. Alright, Sydney Watson, Jesus. So yeah, she's way more radical than she really vibes off right now, but I probably won't disagree with much of what she's saying, but what's so funny to me is that the right has gone from coddling and worshipping J.K. Rowling for being a celebrity with, you know, a lot of respect culturally, who is, as they see it, spoken out against trans rights, that now they're in this, like, impossible situation where they have to pretend to like race-swapped Snape, and I don't think they can do it. I think they're gonna abandon J.K. Rowling. Not that she's gonna be broke or anything like that, but I think the last group of people in society that were like, rah, rah, J.K. Rowling, let's go, I don't think she's gonna have any fans anymore. Her work will have fans, but I don't think she's gonna have any more fans after this.
So funny about this situation is how it's upset both sides of the aisle pretty equally, but for completely different reasons.
Same point
and
I
think
just made.
that in large part has kind of set the stage for what's going to happen to this reboot when it's released. I don't have high expectations. I do have extremely high expectations, though, when it comes to fighting data brokers on the internet, which is why it's so important that you hear about the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. Because if you Google yourself, you will cry with how much is public. Identity. 60% off an annual plan.
Skip the sponsor.
You will feel better when you know your information's not out there publicly. In my initial video that I made about Black Snape a while back, I went in...
Dude, I can't wait for when Neville has to face the Boggart and everybody... It just ends up looking like Neville's biggest fear is a black guy hiding in his closet. It's gonna be so fucking funny. Dude, the like, everybody being super suspicious that the only black professor at the school of Hogwarts is secretly a dark wizard, and everyone's just endlessly suspicious constantly. That shit's going to ring so different now.
Into a lot of detail about why it is an enormous coup to suggest that Snape could be anything other than a pasty white boy, and if you're interested in that explanation, I will link that video in the description. But to quickly recap...
Snape being everyone's least favorite teacher besides maybe Draco. Maybe Draco doesn't have him as his least favorite teacher. Oh, it's gonna ring different.
J.K. Rowling has a tendency to change canon whenever it suits her.
And he's the one professor that actively bullies the children. Yeah.
Dumbledore is now gay, for example, which I am actually positive is going to show up in this reboot. Rowling likes to claim that she left her characters ethnically ambiguous, but this doesn't really fly when you look at her character drawings over the years. Snape is depicted the same way every time. He's also repeatedly described in the books as some variation of white, whether it's pale or pallid or being the color of milk or having a sallow complexion. You get the picture. Also, when J.K. Rowling wanted to specify that a character was something other than white, she'd be pretty damn explicit about that, either telling you that they were black or Indian or giving them names like Cho Chang.
That is the second time you've spoken out of turn, Miss Granger. Are you incapable of restraining yourself, or do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
Point being, Snape is described very specifically with his skin color more or less referenced, despite everybody trying to argue otherwise. You are wrong. Accept it. Anyway, unsurprisingly, these new depictions of Snape quite clearly sent the internet into a tailspin, leading to a bunch of these mockery videos being made.
Listen up, motherfuckers. This right here, this the...
Okay. Well, I don't think the thing they're mocking here is Harry Potter. I don't think that's the main message of these AI-generated slop memes, but okay. Man, AI truly is a blight on humanity. Well, generative AI certainly is.
One. Dropping this motherfucking fried chicken in. Now watch. This, the motherfucking potion that creates infinite watermelon.
Potions is good for everything. Potions get them galleons. Potions get superfine hoes.
You need to put food on ice?
Okay, that one there was at least funny. The first one was like genuinely that stopped being funny when I was 15. Okay? Like, that's some real juvenile, like, 2014 racist internet humor type shit right there. Like, it wasn't even clever, you know? It wasn't even clever. It couldn't manage to be funny because it wasn't clever.
Potion's gonna do that too. Hold up. Is that Harry Potter?
People again pointed out how silly some plotlines are going to look now, such as having James Potter bullying Snape as a child, having Harry be automatically skeptical of him. Apparently all the rage around this has also led to Papa Asiadu, the actor who is set to play Snape, being sent death threats for his role. Which, you know, like, I mean, I still get death threats for saying that men can't be women. It is the internet after all. And some people...
I wish these people... Well, I've said this a million times, but, Yeah, quit playing victim. You're being a bitch. You're not getting death threats. You're probably not getting any death threats, to be honest. And if you were, it's not because you said men can't be women. It's because you refuse to accept the identity of trans people. That's probably why.
Have low impulse control. What can I say? This also might sort of be an unpopular opinion. I'm sure you guys will let me know. But yes, of course, sending death threats, receiving death threats, not okay, not acceptable. I don't condone that. But I am not super sure what Papa Asiadu, the actor playing Snape, was expecting in this case. He accepted a role for a character that he's not suited for, that he's wholly ill-suited for. People were obviously going to have strong feelings about that. Again, it's not okay. I'm not saying it's okay. But I'm also not sure what he was expecting. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm only a humble tea saleswoman who's been around the internet and seen the same thing happen a million times. Speaking of tea, if you haven't already, you should go check out my tea website, lionsteaexchange.com. I will link it in the description box. I have a bunch of terrific flavors, and hey, guess what? My flavor raspberry elderflower rosé is back in stock, and everybody seems to like that one, so go get yourself a box. Do it now. Go. Link in the...
How do they constantly do this? Like, it genuinely soured the Monster energy on my tongue. How quickly she was able to pivot into another sponsorship. This is the second sponsorship of the video, by the way. These people are such shameless grifters, it's insane. The last time I took a sponsorship was before Biden was president. It was in Trump's first term. And I still stand by that company because I thought their product was so good. Meanwhile, these like right-wing creators will put like 2 or 3 or 4 different sponsors in one video. I didn't even know that was allowed, dude. I didn't even know that shit was allowed. Raid Shadow Legends.
Description. Anyway, importantly, a bunch of people, me included, are feeling really quite disappointed with all of this and have either decided that they won't be watching or they have realized that this is probably going to suck. And we'll come back to that point. That's the pattern recognition thing that I was talking about earlier. At the same time, progressives all over the shop have avowed that they will not be watching this reboot either. The outlet The Verge even published this fun article headlined, "There is no ethical consumption of HBO's Harry Potter series." This piece explains that as much as fans might be excited about this new show, there's no way to watch this show without supporting Rowling's bigotry and the structural violence she's inflicting on a vulnerable minority. That minority being trans people. It also outlines...
Keep in mind, by the way, there's no scenario where this isn't a W for the left. Like, J.K. Rowling's already made herself a pariah to progressives in the trans community, so now her doing things that only ostracizes her from the conservatives that she's tried to pander to only benefits the left. We love seeing the people who are backing her turn against her. It's funny as fuck. Like, to be clear here, the left is not getting epically owned by the Harry Potter show being bad and unpopular across the aisle. Okay? Like, the left is rooting for this show to fail. The right rooting for it to fail now, too, is just moving things towards the direction the left wants to see. We've been hating J.K. Rowling for a while.
The ways that J.K. Rowling is apparently a horrible transphobe and explains that every penny she makes will be used towards more transphobia. Really what they're describing here is her supporting women's rights. More specifically...
No, she overtly hates trans people and gleefully gloats about trans people losing their rights.
Those of us who have magical pollen patches? Maybe? No? Is that? Maybe that's not the euphemism. To be honest with you all, Rowling's support for women's rights has always been mislabeled as transphobia, and it's so out of control.
Has not always been labeled as transphobia, by any means. In fact, J.K. Rowling was not really seen as a feminist until she started getting angry about trans people. That's when she started using the label of feminist super strongly and always bringing that up. And at no point has J.K. Rowling spoken out against women's problems or issues that women face. Only ever has she spoken out in regards to trans people. The only commonality in regards to what women's issues she speaks on are that there are trans people involved and she has a negative take on their existence. Right? And keep in mind, you could see her radicalization in real time. It went from, I don't know about these trans people being in sports and stuff to, funding bills and politicians that are moving to, have trans people not be recognized by the state anymore. And the reason they were recognized by the state was because that was where the scientific and psychological research had led lawmakers to the conclusion of. Like, she has actively fought and used her wealth to roll back the laws that had been made to protect trans people as lawmakers became more aware of the issues. So, like, progress has been lost, which is her goal.
How many people say she hates trans people, but no one can actually point to anything that she said that was actually hateful. A couple years ago, a Huffington Post journalist once combed through everything Rowling had—
That's my favorite thing, the like, oh, you think J.K. Rowling is a transphobe? Name 5 transphobic things she said, and it's like, oh, fuck. Damn, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I wasn't expecting to have to recall those examples off the top of my head, but I am internet brain, and so I do actually have a couple off the top of my head. My favorite example would have to be J.K. Rowling engaging in that consistent, ongoing harassment campaign against the cis woman wrestler. I forget what athlete or what she did. I think, was she a wrestler, or was she like a football player or basketball player, something like that? But she's a cis woman, and conservatives, including J.K. Rowling, became convinced that she was trans and have harassed her for years, despite her literally proving in court that she is a cis woman. And that's not just transphobia, that's overt misogyny. A boxer, okay, thank you. Boxer. And then, of course, whenever trans people had their rights rolled back, I think by the NHS, if I'm not mistaken, this is more of a British politics thing, so as an American, I'm not super filled in. She posted a picture of herself, like, sipping wine on a yacht, like, I love it when a good plan comes together. Yeah, she's evil and disgusting.
Had ever said on the matter of transgenderism, and couldn't find a single instance where she actually expressed hatred for trans people. Yeah, so by the way, Mr. Asiadu, you want to hear about someone who's gotten real death threats? Yeah, well, there's like literal music videos from trans people talking about unaliving J.K. Rowling, so, you know, do with that what you will. Anyway, I have seen this claim—
That's artistic, and that's free speech and artistic expression, my friend. Once again, no one is arguing that J.K. Rowling should have her freedom of speech taken away. People are arguing they should vote with their wallet, okay? Like, if you don't like people doing that, then vote with your wallet and don't watch their video of them making a parody song about J.K. Rowling dying, okay? That's artistic parody. You're allowed to— if you do a song parody about someone dying or killing someone, that is very easy to get away with in court in the United States of America. Making it a song basically instantly makes it fine.
About Harry Potter sales funding transphobia come up over and over and over again in leftist circles online. This video is from 2024, where the claim is just—
You know what this reminds me of? I killed Darnell Simmons. I killed him with my 9. I shot him 9 times. Who knows what I'm referencing? It wasn't me. I don't know what to tell you.
being made generally.
I mean, the reality is, like, you shouldn't, because the idea of, like, every time you view that, she's getting a penny, and then that penny's going to fund anti-trans legislation in the UK.
Here is another video from 2025 after the new show was announced.
Just a reminder that any profits made from the new Harry Potter show is going to be used to fund anti-trans organizations.
And here are a bunch of these videos from the last few days. They are really something.
People don't want you to boycott the new Harry Potter show because they're snowflakes who can't handle the fact that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe. They want you to boycott it because watching it directly harms trans people financially.
The only reason that this is happening is because J.K. Rowling is so pissed off that Rupert and Emma and Daniel will not agree with her transphobia. She wants to punish them, and she had to replace them with more compliant.
All the big actors from the Harry Potter movies, all those beloved actors, they all hate her. They all have done way more good for the trans community than J.K. Rowling is capable of doing bad.
Children.
I didn't know you could read. Anyway, so you might be wondering at this juncture why I am telling you this. And I'm trying to get to the point, Simon, but you rush me. I think that this reboot is more or less dead in the water. And if it's not dead in the water, then it's going to grossly underperform for a bunch of reasons. It has upset OG fans who will never see Snape as anyone other than Alan Rickman, or an Alan Rickman-shaped person, like...
Let's be real, I'll never be able to see Snape as anyone but Alan Rickman either. Like, that's just because Alan Rickman is such a great actor. Like, he absolutely killed it as Snape. Say what you want about Harry Potter, say what you want about J.K. Rowling. Alan Rickman is a fantastic actor. He absolutely killed it as Snape, and I genuinely couldn't imagine anybody else playing him, and it not just making me think the whole time, man, I wish it was Alan Rickman. He was literally the GOAT. Could Keanu be Snape? No. No. Honestly, no. People say Adam Driver would be good, but he looks the part enough, sure, but I don't know. Who knows if he could pull it off? Listen, Alan Rickman had a very good resume before Harry Potter.
Adam Driver, for example. It has also pissed off leftists because they absolutely hate J.K. Rowling and have been attacking Harry Potter for years as a result. And so it sort of leaves the show in a bit of a weird limbo. I really think if the casting directors had just gone ahead and cast an appropriate looking...
Remember how, like, Hogwarts Legacy had absolutely no cultural impact on the gaming community? How all these chuds were like, this is gonna be mind-blowing, game changer, this is gonna be a game changer, people are gonna talk about this for years. The lefties are mad, the trans people are mad, and now, like, no one talks about it. The only time it gets brought up is in regards to transphobia and that whole discourse. Hogwarts Legacy just totally died and no one gives a shit.
Snape, normal people and normal fans would be either ambivalent towards this or excited about the show and would be coming to its defense, but instead, it has absolutely set the stage for what we can expect going forward. Harry Potter was something that millennials grew up with. We grew up reading it, we grew up enjoying it, and so when the films were announced in the early days, back when we were young, it was exciting to see this world that we all knew and loved come to life. That is not the case for this younger generation, and they have no emotional attachment to this franchise. Just because they might like it at a glance doesn't mean that they are invested in the same way that we were. I saw earlier someone say
that is a good point, but honestly, I think it's gonna resonate plenty over generations. It's Harry Potter. Although I would like to see Lord of the Rings come back to the top as the kind of thing that influences future generations. I meet so many other Gen Zers who are adults, 24, 25 years old, and have never seen Lord of the Rings, certainly not read it, but haven't even seen the movies. Always blows my mind. We gotta change that. We gotta do something about that.